Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a really exciting video to share with you guys. This is how I make my own BB cream. And I'm not even joking, you guys. This is the best BB cream I have ever worn because it's completely customizable to me and it does have skincare benefits as well. I throw in SPF 50 and I throw in my favorite moisturizer. So whatever that is, whatever your favorite moisturizer or SPF is, you can add it in there. You can throw in your favorite foundation in there and I'm telling you, you will love how it turns out and how it wears throughout the day. This is especially great for my oily skin girls because I do use a mattifying SPF and I use quite a bit of translucent powder to keep me matte all day and keep the oils at bay. I love how it's sheer but buildable and totally customizable. So if you are more of like a full coverage girl, you can totally add more foundation and less moisturizer. But for me, and when I do these little concoctions, I like it to be something sheer that you can throw on, you know, with your hands, or, you know, it doesn't take too much time to blend out. This is what I like to go for, and I like to have it pretty sheer because if I wanted full coverage, I would just wear a foundation. So I'm wearing the BB cream right now, and I also wanted to do like a little review of how this BB cream holds up. That way you can see for yourself how well it wears. Every time I wear this, I look at my skin at the end of the day before I take off my makeup and I'm like, whoa, it looks so good. And I honestly try to think to like what foundation I was wearing that day, and I'll remember that it's like my own little homemade BB cream. So I had to share it with you guys and I hope you guys enjoy it. So I'm gonna stop chit-chatting now and I'm just gonna show you how to make it. And by the way, I'm like extra shiny because I did put on like a luminizing moisturizer. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is a little container. It could be a little pot with like, you know, like an old moisturizer pot. It could be like an old serum bottle. That's what I'm using today. This is like an empty serum bottle and it has a pump, so that's nice. Then you're going to need your favorite foundation. It could be 2 or 3 foundations that you really love and that are going to give you your perfect shade. Then I will add in a little bit of moisturizer and SPF, like a separate sunscreen. If you have a moisturizer that has sunscreen, that's fine, you can use that too. But I really do think that my sunscreen, the one that I use in particular, it's a mattifying sunscreen and it really helps the foundation or BB cream hold up throughout the day. And you're also going to need some primer and translucent powder. Or it could be colored powder if you want. It could be like a mineral powder, it could be like a compact powder, you know, like to put over your foundation, powder foundation. I personally like to use translucent powder because I don't want too much coverage. The whole point of this is just to kind of sheer out my foundation and make a little concoction that I could just, you know, put on like a moisturizer in the morning. It has all of its skincare ingredients, it has like SPF, you know, and I'm set for the day. So the first thing that I do is I mix my foundation shade. And this foundation shade could be a little bit darker than your skin tone because we're going to lighten it up with moisturizer and SPF anyways. I have my MERCIER Flawless Fusion 15-hour longwear foundation. So I think I'm going to use a mixture of this guy. I do switch up my foundations that I use, but they're all pretty much mattifying, long-wearing foundations that I know last all day. This is a new one. I'm going to try this guy, throwing in the new NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation. Okay, so first I'm going to add in my foundation. I'm going to add the lightest one. I'm going to start with about this much. I'm not going to put too much foundation to start in case I need to keep adding more foundation to kind of lighten it up. I just want to get my perfect shade first. You want to get your perfect shade but a touch darker so that when you add in the moisturizer, it'll kind of lighten itself. You know what? I'm going to use my MERCIER Flawless Fusion. This is in 4W2 Chai. And of course you'll need a little mixing brush. So I'm just going to mix these two together. And I'll take whatever's out and I'll put it on my hand. Just a little bit on my hand and I'll rub it out just to see if it's a good color match. And it looks pretty good. It does get a little bit messy, so you might want to keep some makeup wipes. So now this little bottle, it's about maybe a third of the way full of foundation. And now you can customize this however you like. You can add more foundation or less foundation depending on how much coverage you want. But I don't want a ton of coverage. I might want it to be like my skin but better. I want it to be luminous. I want some freckles to show through still, you know. And now I'm using my ROCHE Ultra Light SPF protection. It has SPF 50 in it. I'm going to add in about a third of this bottle. Next, take your favorite primer for your skin type. If you have oily skin, grab a mattifying primer. If you have normal or dry skin, grab a hydrating primer. So I'm just gonna grab my Smashbox Original Primer. This is what's gonna help your foundation stay all day. I didn't do a lot of this primer. I did about like a 3 pea size amount. Does that make sense? And I'm just gonna add a little bit of my Fenty Beauty Primer. I did about 7 pumps of it. I know we're adding a lot of things to it, but you want it to be like a primer, SPF, color, coverage, moisturizer, all in one, right? That's what BB creams are. They're like your one step and done. I'm gonna add in a little bit of moisturizer to further sheer it out. And I like to use like a gel moisturizer when I am making these little BB creams because it's just lighter on the skin, especially for my oily skin. So I'm doing about, I basically fill it almost to the top with moisturizer. Oh my god, am I out? No, I just ran out. Last thing that we're gonna put is powder. So now, as you can see, I have about a quarter amount of the bottle left. I'm going to just add in some translucent powder. I'll probably do almost a quarter of the bottle. I'm just using this Marcelle. It's a drugstore translucent powder because I don't want to use my expensive stuff. This works pretty well. Oh!
Oops!
Oh my god. That was a lot. So don't do what I did. Probably scoop it out with a spoon. That was a disaster. It spilled all over my pants. So I just take a little paper, I'll fold it in half. Let me try to show you. I'll fold it in half and I put about this much, and then I will just tip it into here. I recommend doing this like in your bathroom or somewhere. Alright, so I filled up the rest of it with powder. And if you have dry skin or normal skin, you probably don't need as much powder, but I have oily skin, so I need it. So now that you've made a big mess, it's time to mix it together. You could honestly just put the cap on and give it a good shake, but I like to just mix it so that the powder is like not just sitting on top of it. Then I will put the cap on and just give it a good shake. Alright, so I'm just gonna pump some out onto my hand. And it feels nice and light, like you could apply this with your hand. You don't have to worry about getting streaky. And there we go. Look how good it looks. Alright, let's test this out. Okay, so I'm not even gonna put primer on. I just went and dampened my beauty blender. I'm gonna do half my face to show you guys the coverage. And I'm just gonna use my beauty blender. You could totally use your hands if you want, but I just prefer using like a beauty blender or a brush. Just because my hands are naturally really sweaty, and obviously that doesn't make for a good tool to blend your makeup out with. Even every time I even try to like pat in concealer, my hands are so sweaty that it just looks really patchy. It'll just move the product around, you know, I won't actually pat it into the skin. Alright, so there's one side done. It looks really natural. You can still see all my freckles, but it just evens out my skin tone so it's not as like pale compared to my neck. For every day, I like to just even out my skin tone. I'm not really concerned about like covering up all my freckles or anything like that. I usually only do that if I'm doing like a special event, I'm going out, I'm gonna have my picture taken, just because sometimes if you don't have the full coverage on your freckles, it can look a little ashy with your concealer. So I'm just going to do the other side now. And if you make this, and let's say you want a little bit more coverage, you can just add in a little bit more foundation to the mixture. And that's how you can really get like your perfect BB cream, you know? The coverage that you want, the color you want, the formula that you want, with added skin benefits like your favorite moisturizer that might have, you know, vitamin C, vitamin E, whatever it is, and sunscreen. Just don't use this if you're doing like an event. You're gonna have flash photography because then you'll get flashback because we did put SPF in it. I'm happy with this amount of coverage. It looks really natural. If there are any blemishes that I want to further conceal, then I'll just go in with concealer. For concealer, I'm gonna go in with ginger. I'm gonna go on about my daily base routine, the way I usually do it. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the Sephora Bright Future one. Just like 2 lines. I'm just grabbing my Too Faced Ethereal Setting Powder. Oh, I grabbed a lot. When I grab too much, I'll just kind of place it everywhere that I want it first and then go in and blend it out. And what's great about this BB cream is that it's not super tacky. Like if you had normal to dry skin, you could go out without setting your face. For me, it's just a touch tacky, so I am going to set it. But first I want to show you guys how it blends with your cream contour, if that's what you're into. I'm going to, because I just got this and I've been loving it. I'm just going to take a foundation brush to blend it out. I blend it in seamlessly, very easily, just like it would with any other foundation, with your favorite foundation, but this one's just like a more toned down version with some skincare benefits. I'm just gonna set the rest of my face now that we're done with all the creams. I would set my face no matter what, even if I was wearing like a super full coverage matte foundation, just because I do get pretty oily. And just gonna warm up our face a little bit with my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer in medium deep. And for blush, you already know I'm going in with my favorite. It's the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Party. And for highlight, I'm going with my Bobbi Brown like shimmer brick. But it's broken, so I can't show you, but it's in beige. Set the face with my NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. Alright, I'm gonna finish the rest of my face off camera and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I just finished my makeup. I threw on some mascara, a little bit of eyeshadow, and this is MAC lip liner in Strip Down. So I just wanted to come on here and show you guys how BB cream looks. Let me try to turn the brightness down. Hold on. So I turned the brightness of my ring light all the way down so that you guys can see up close like how natural it looks. Like you can still see my freckles. It still looks like skin, but it still has a really nice coverage. Alright, so I'm gonna run some errands now and I'll be back at the end of the day to do a check-in so that you guys can see how well this BB cream holds up. Alright guys, so it is the end of the day. It's been about 7.5 hours. It's 8:30. I put it on around 1. So it's been 7.5 hours since I've been wearing this BB cream. I went to the gym, I went grocery shopping, I ran some errands. I haven't even blotted my face once. Yeah, it looks really good. Like, I mean, it looks dewy, but it's not overly dewy. Like, this is definitely more matte than that Lancome stick foundation that I did a review on. It still looks really natural. My pores aren't enhanced or anything like that. I just have some blotting papers. I'm just gonna blot this because usually I'll blot after the gym, but today I didn't because I wanted to get like a true wear test of how this BB cream performs. So here it is blotted. The blush is still on, contour is still on. It doesn't look patchy. Sometimes when I'm really oily and I blot with blotting papers, and it'll pick up the product. And it's all still on my face. Now I just look like I have the highlighter on in the areas that I put it on, but I'm not overly dewy. Skin looks really healthy still, and it didn't rub off anywhere. Let you guys get nice and close so you can see. And that is how I make the best BB cream ever for oily skin girls. And what's great about it is that you can really customize it, you know. So if I wore this today and it was a little bit too oily at the end of the day, I would just go in and add a little bit more powder, or I would add a little bit more of a mattifying primer to it. So you can always substitute things or add more to it to suit your skin type, which is the best thing about making your own BB creams at home. I hope you guys found this helpful and that you give it a try. If you do, let me know how it goes. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.